Distinguished speaker, dear Obiageli Ezekwesili, Dr. Ezekwesili, dear faculty and staff, proud families, friends, and guests, and most importantly, dear graduates of the Executive Master of Public Administration of 2022. Welcome to today's ceremony. What an honor and joy it is for me to celebrate with you today. My name is Cornelia Woll, and I'm the president of the Hertie School. Today is a very special day because it marks an extraordinary achievement in your lives. You have successfully completed your master's program here at the Hertie School. I'm very proud to share this moment with you and everyone who came to celebrate your achievement. You, that is a cohort of 18 graduates from 12 different nationalities and 6 continents. Congratulations to all of you. You have mastered your study in truly daring times, full of uncertainty. In addition to a pandemic, we have now experienced a terrible war resulting from Putin's brutal invasion of Ukraine. We have an energy crisis looming as we approach the winter and rising consumer prices. It is very difficult in these changing times to stay focused, to stay hopeful, and to contemplate the future. Nonetheless, this graduation ceremony can be a moment of pride for all of you because despite these challenges, you've mastered your studies and I commend you for it. And after all, this is already an achievement, but you've done so by juggling jobs, your studies, and in many cases, care for families and loved ones. And I'd like to say, I see we have your families with us. Sometimes we have small children. I'll invite you, if you would like, and if your children are interested, to bring them on stage with you. Because I think it's the one moment where you can finally explain to them why you weren't always available. And if they'd like to be in the picture, they can come up with you. If you'd like to leave them with somebody else, of course, feel free to do so as well. But in any case, you've juggled all of these things successfully, and I have to say, this is truly impressive. Because on top of it, you have dared to tackle the big questions of our time: democracy, diversity, climate change, artificial intelligence, even blockchain technology. What a great testament to your creativity and your diversity of ideas, to your drive and your energy. You can be proud of yourself, and I speak not just for those who brought your parents. I think I can say everybody in the room, we are very, very proud of you. The Executive Master of Public Administration is indeed a unique program. You all are practitioners. You come from a large variety of fields, and you've made the decision to pursue yet another step in your professional training. You bring with you and to us a diversity in experiences that has enabled us to teach better, to think better, and to discuss better how to solve the problems you care about deeply. With one leg in your jobs, throughout the course of your studies here at Hertie, you were and still are able to connect the real-world problems, the machine room of decision-making, with rigorous scientific training in order to find not just the best, but also the most applicable solutions to the pressing questions of today. My favorite book title is a book called Implementation by Wildavsky, and it is called Implementation, : How Great Expectations in Washington Are Dashed in Oakland. And I think this is the title that resumes why you are better equipped than some other students who just go into studies to understand how policy is really made. Of course, we can think big ideas. We can have all sorts of creative solutions in the places like Washington, D.C. or Berlin or other capitals. But if they don't go all the way to Oakland or Lüdenscheid or wherever you come from, they might not be very effective. And we really hope that you can bridge exactly these two worlds of implementation, of practice, and of sound scientific reasoning. In all of this, you can rely on the training you've received here, but also on us, because you're part of the Hertie School community now, and we like to think of ourselves as family. You can now proudly call yourself a Hertie alumni, and you will be part of a global network of over 2,300 alumni with active chapters in 10 countries and members representing over 110 nationalities. Whether it be academic or professional events, or simply coming together with the people you met and others you'd like to meet and share time and exchange experience, you will see how much the alumni community can be the cornerstone of your Hertie experience going forward, and how it holds us together as a family. Even though you will receive your diplomas from us just now, it doesn't mean farewell. It means au revoir. We really want to see you in the future. Still, graduation is always a transition, the beginning of something new. Most of the time, it is good to halt, pause, and think what it means to transition to something new, to go into the world now as a graduate with the degrees you hold in your hand. And this is why I'm so thrilled that you will be able to receive inspiration and advice from our truly outstanding commencement speaker. I could not have imagined a better person than Dr. Ezekwesili to speak to you today. You may know her as Obi. I learned she is known as Madam Due Process in Nigeria. And she truly is one of the most inspiring and acclaimed people I know who have fought the good fight in so many different aspects of her career. She has broken through every ceiling and every wall one can put in your way in order to make Nigeria and the world think about good governance and what good governance truly means, and what the world can fall short of if you do not tackle that challenge. She holds master's degrees from the University of Lagos and the Harvard Kennedy School of Government, and she was awarded not one but several honorary doctorates. She's currently serving as the founding president of Human Capital África, a senior economic advisor at the African Economic Development Policy Initiative, and a senior fellow at Yale's University Jackson Institute for Global Affairs. She brings with her the experience of being vice president of the World Bank with its Africa program as her area of responsibility. Before that, she occupied several advisory and leadership roles in the government of her home country, Nigeria, including Minister of Solid Mineral Development and Minister of Education, which, as I told her, to me are clearly linked because they are essential resources that you need to manage well in order for your country to strive. In 2019, she was candidate for the presidency of Nigeria. Dr. Ezekwesili is also a pioneer in the field of civil society and advocacy. She co-founded and co-directed Transparency International right here in Berlin, which might have started as a small organization, but is certainly today the mammoth fighting for anti-corruption in the world. She's also founded citizen-led initiatives such as the Red Card Movement and Fix Politics that are aimed at tackling the difficult challenges of our time: corruption and good governance, democracy and research-based reform. In 2014, she and others initiated the Bring Our Girls Back movement, raising awareness and fighting for the return of 300 abducted schoolgirls in Chibok, Nigeria. This list is far from complete. What is true for all her fields of activity, however, is that she's always credited with spearheading reforms and facilitating lasting improvements. I will also say that if you walk with her in the street, she will be recognized and greeted by her countrymen, one of which we ran into. I should also add, and this is the second edition, you'll see the list is too long, that she was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. In other words, few people so clearly represent what it means to be a change maker across and within the field of politics, the economy, and civil society. I am so honored to have you with us today. And please join me in welcoming Dr. Ezekwesili on stage.
Thank you for such generous and warm welcome to a city that I very much love. It's always great to be in Berlin. I do say to Germans when I'm in Berlin, I'm a Berliner, and they laugh. Thank you so much, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am so delighted to be the guest of this very prestigious school. President Cornelia Vol, I am so delighted to see you assume leadership of this school. Such warmth, such girl power. I love that so much. And such incredible knowledge of the issues that matter for our world today, especially the emphasis on scientific basis for making decisions around our world. I want to acknowledge Mark Halberg, a good friend, and of course the MD and the mother of the students that are graduating today, as they would normally say. When you're responsible for a class that is graduating, it gives you a sense of delivery. Congratulations. But above all, I want to say hello to friends and family of the executive MPA class of 2022, and most especially to you, the students that are graduating. Such a great relief, I believe. I am super delighted to be your commencement speaker at this graduation in this city that holds fond memories for me. Starting from meeting Holger Endros as part of my Richard von Weizsäcker Fellowship at the Robert Bosch Academy in Berlin in 2019, to being introduced by him to my now favorite and revolutionary friend, Professor Andrea Romele, who just happens not to be able to join us, and by she to Professors Mark Halberg and Helmut Angher, who have all played incredible roles guiding our own pursuit for a similar high vision at the School of Politics, Policy and Governance in Nigeria, where, based on our mission, we are building a massive base and pipeline of a new and disruptive thinking political class. I specifically would like to thank my dear friend Karen Loss of the GIZ and the BMZ under Minister Maria Flackbush, who brought Hertie School and the SPPG together to forge the relationship that I consider a most meaningful model of technical development assistance that can have lasting impact. Ownership, partnership, knowledge brought together to produce tangible results and sustainable impact. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to turn to the graduating class because today is their day. I have chosen that I would speak to you from the heart because after all, you've been doing analysis for too long. It might make a lot of sense to just talk to you as a human being. And so I do this by sort of saying, it would be good for you to know what has helped me throughout my lifetime of traversing the private sector, trained as a chartered accountant in the firm of Deloitte & Touche, Kintila Williams, where I became both a chartered accountant and a consultant, through my time at the Center for International Development at Harvard University, where I learned how to take from classroom public policy theory into designing solutions for my country, to Government of Nigeria, where I sharpened my skills in not just designing solutions to the core issues of over 5 key positions that I held in my 6.5 years as a public official, to my time as Vice President of the World Bank in Washington, D.C., leading a team of over 2,000 people to provide diverse analytical studies, finance and partnerships for our 48 country clients in Africa, to my post-career retirement years over the last 11 years, since I retired from the bank in 2012, and a period in which my range and span have actually multiplied, even much more than when I was in formal positions of authority. 22 years ago, I was like some of you that are here today graduating. I was graduating from a mid-career program on public policy and administration at the Kennedy School of Government, now renamed Harvard Kennedy School. We used to be very proud not to have had Harvard attached to our name. We just say Kennedy School, KSG. But now Harvard has appropriated KSG. I had an amazing time learning within and outside the classroom, as well as building strong ties and formidable global network of friends and associates, which further expanded the ones that I already had as a co-founder and pioneer board director of the Berlin-based Transparency International, and listening to our KSG commencement speaker on that day in June of 2000, my mind kept darting back and forth to what next, really? What next? What would be the most meaningful use of my life after gaining all this knowledge from my program? One word from the speaker, and I was back in the room, and I knew immediately that my life of doing jobs was never going to work for me again. I was done working for a living. There was no way I was going to waltz through life just job hunting for the next big salary. Cementing my previous academic trainings with the serious policy knowledge that we had received was all that I needed in order to know that the value of real impact is not defined by the title nor size of remuneration from a job. I wanted to have more meaningful impact on my world than merely securing good jobs that guaranteed me a cushy life. It was in that moment that a still small voice said, "You're built and trained to do assignments and not jobs." Okay, well, some of you are not into my kind of deep belief in the divine creator, who in my own case is personified by Jesus Christ. I understand that. Yet, something tells me that the word I heard on that day could hold true for even those of you who do not believe but have a sense of mission, a sense of high impact, purposeful life. There is a fire that burns within your heart. That fire led you to a public policy school, Hertie. I thought you would clap for your school at this point. I told you that my topic is our world today needs those who are prepared for assignment rather than a job. What exactly is the difference between doing a job and being on an assignment? Well, I just said that a job, according to dictionary definition, is a piece of work, especially a specific task done as a part of the routine of one's occupation for an agreed price. The Collins Dictionary says a job is the work that someone does to earn money, or the job of a particular person or thing is their duty or function. I mean, it's so really boring, even when you look at the definition of a job. Who wants to do a job? Definitely not me. An assignment, however, is a specified task or amount of work that's assigned or undertaken as if assigned by authority, or the act of choosing someone to take a position of great responsibility. It is a particular job or responsibility given to you according to the Merriam-Webster's dictionary. According to Cambridge Dictionary, it's a task or a piece of work that is given to someone to do, often for a limited period of time. It is definite, limited task assigned by one in authority. And so I love that young child. Oh my God, this is perfect. I hope you're capturing her on your camera, because we must show her this when she becomes the president of this university. The series of tasks waiting to be assigned and solved in our world today are rapidly mutating multifarious challenges of the 21st century. Governance is at the center of solutions that are required to tackle these problems. Yet we see that governance is struggling at all levels of society. The trust that citizens have in government to solve problems is at an all-time low. We are not the governments, are all we have. We are all we have. And we have no luxury of time in finding solutions to our common problems. Our 24-hour day is no longer adequate to solve what hits at us daily. We must optimize the time we have to tackle the problems by having more dedicated people on assignment. But why us, you may ask? Who assigned us to this important role? Well, the simple answer is that our privilege assigned us. We are on assignment because we are privileged. Our privilege assigned us, my dear friends who are graduating. It is that simple. My unforgettable dad constantly said to me and my siblings, and I quote him, "You are privileged." And he was saying this to us at a time that we had no real consciousness that he and my mom were not really rich. Well, in our childlike innocence, we thought that they were providing us everything we needed. Therefore, they must be rich. And we thought, oh, surely there's some pot of money that we're going to inherit. We didn't realize that our father's definition of privilege was entirely different. Because he would say to us, you are privileged, and the only value to be derived from your privilege is to always use it to extend opportunity to those who are not as fortunate as you are, so that they also can be better. It is your life assignment. End of quote. This was my father. You know, my dad's definition of privilege was that, I quote him, "We are giving you knowledge through your access to education, raising you with strong sense of values, which you must never, ever negotiate away in life. And third, you have inherited a family name and pedigree that your mom and I have built at a huge cost over the years." End of quote. Surely, there must be many of you in this audience that probably had the good fortune of dads and moms like mine, for whom privilege was that basic in definition. You know? But seriously, the task that our privileges have assigned us today are too numerous to have the job seeker's mindset. It's too much of a luxury to have the job hunters, the job seeker's mindset. We who have been trained in policy schools know that policy windows are usually fleeting and span a very short period, and therefore demand that we must rise as though there were no one else available to do that which must be done in order to make a difference. Assignments do not respond to the usual timeline of the establishments as we know them today. Assignments are all around us, and they come as of a rushing wind, suddenly and following no laid down order. When we really pay attention to our society, we see assignments. Assignments stare us in the faces as we look around us. The code to assignments is to be prepared. That's what Hertie has done for you. To make you be a Girl Guide, a Boy Scout. Be prepared. The impact-driven minds among you today would very likely count several assignments that your commitment to public good would have thrust upon you by the time you are next together for your 10th alum reunion by 2032. I bet you that's what's going to happen. It was like that for me in those early 90s as a young woman living under the tyranny of a military government, and yet undaunted to co-found Transparency International because of the devastating impact on poverty that global corruption was having on my society. I couldn't look at that assignment and not feel that I needed to do something. Or the fact that as some in my country continue to attack me for having thrown my prestige and my high position in the mud by marching the streets of my capital city, Abuja, crying that the young women who were abducted by terrorists be rescued by their own government when they were abducted in northern Nigeria in 2014? Or is it the fact that I only finally agreed to accept an interview for the position of the VP for Africa region at the World Bank when my husband told me, I quote him, "Baby, it is an assignment on behalf of the poor people in more than 48 countries of Africa who would never have the opportunity of being in the faces of their presidents. You will, on their behalf, be in the faces of these leaders, and I know you to tell them the hard truth that they need to hear so that they don't squander the opportunity to lead, choosing rather to be irredeemably corrupt." End of quote. Or the fact that when I got tired of demanding for accountability from our political class in Nigeria, the words of Plato, he said, "Those who think that politics is beneath them will be ruled by their inferiors." That haunted me enough to beat my phobia for ever being called a politician. Oh, how I hated that word. And I actually then moved forward, picked up a party ticket to run for office, and embarrassingly, but at least proudly, left halfway when my values clashed with the party leaders. Or that upon realizing that one does not have to cry over a broken model. You just simply need to build one strategically. I decided to spend my time here in Berlin, and with the support of my Hertie friends and the support of my colleagues in Nigeria, we now have the School of Politics, Policy, and Governance that is vigorously producing a new kind of public leaders. To be a person of assignment is way better than merely doing jobs, especially in moments of social crisis. Surely, our world reels under the weight of multiple crises that include the severest combination of values erosion, governance failures, political, economic, and social turmoils, transnational and unpredictable risks of immense proportion, like this COVID-19 that we barely escaped from, but with lasting damages. Several global risk analytics show that the next 10 decades will test our resolve as a global community, because no greater nor more perfect storm is gathering close to what preceded the First World War than the combined absence of global leadership and cooperation, but rather asinine great power competition in a season when we have lost millions of people to health pandemic, millions dying of poverty and inequality, millions dying of hunger, and the impact of climate change, terrorism, cyber space threats hanging over our world. And yet, where are the leaders? Where are the leaders? This nature of problems do not need job hunters. They will require those who feel a sense of assignment and are ready to give their all to execute rapid response operations at the minutest or grandest levels in order to turn potential dangers into opportunities, to prevent, to preempt. It also does not matter that no one sees the things that such people do, nor does anyone applaud them for their effort, seeing that these people are not some photogenic politicians making several promises for the expedient moment that they have no plans of fulfilling when the cameras are down. What matters is that there is an assignment for which they have been called and tasked. Who called them, you may ask? Who tasked them with the assignment, you may even ask further? Well, their assignment came by nothing more than their own sense of responsibility to a world that has given them so much already. The authority that assigns people like us who made the mistake of choosing to go to public policy schools, to be trained on how to serve for the public good is a moral consciousness. It is the fire within that will keep disturbing your heart should you ever someday in your life dare to forget why you came to Hertie in the first place. Your school has trained you to be in the knowledge of analysis of the conditions, structures, and dynamics of governance. And that's wonderful, because failing democracies and governments means that your generation of new public leaders will face much more complex, severe problems. The complicatedness of design and execution of solutions will demand innovation like never before seen. They will demand resilience in character, not the contextual or pandering display of toughness in sporadic pattern. No. Designing climate change solutions in a conflict-obsessed, non-cooperative, pandemic-looming world will demand the kind of integrity which my father of blessed memory adjudged to be incomplete if it is not consistent. He always said that to us. Character is not complete until it is consistent. Integrity is not complete until it is consistent. Unusual leaders are those who have not just received, through your time here at Hertie, the competence and capacity to analyze problems, determine options, select and decide the least cost solutions, all guided by empiricism. It is those of you who, beyond the technical, will now also possess the abiding character to serve your world above self. The theater of public leadership is littered with competent and capable ones who, because of the desire to place self above the common good, made choices that worsened the conditions of millions who looked to them for selfless service. Unusual leaders are abnormal. They defy traditional boxes of what ticks in the social media spaces. They hold no mass appeal. Unusual leaders hold no mass appeal. But they are here today graduating from Hertie School's MPA Executive Program. I thought you would clap for yourself also. That fire. Yes, I hope the parents are also clapping, even though I know some of you have missed them. Wives are clapping, husbands are clapping, children are clapping. You have done well, and we clap and we applaud you. Unusual leaders are abnormal. They defy traditional boxes of what ticks in the social media spaces. They hold no mass appeal. But you're here today, graduating from Hertie, and knowing that the assignments are out there waiting for you. That fire in our hearts have thrust upon us the assignments we must do in order to make our world, our countries, our communities, our families better. Our hearts carry the fire that assigns us to understand today and shape tomorrow. May the fire in your heart never quench. Congratulations.
Thank you very much for these inspiring words, which reminded me very much of this long discussion in Germany between Politik als Beruf and Politik als Berufung. So this is Max Weber talking about politics as a job or politics as a vocation, but he missed the assignment part that puts us at service for society. And thank you for reminding us of this. And now I have the pleasure to transition and move us into the most important part of that ceremony, and that is the conferment of your degrees. And for this, I would like to ask Juliana McCarthy to the stage, who will read out your names together with me and congratulate you.
Thank you very much, Cornelia. So, now on to our executive MPA graduates. It is an immense privilege to join today's ceremony of the graduating class of 2022 as your manager of the Executive Master of Public Administration. It has been a great honor to accompany you on your journey at the Hertie School, and I hope that you are as proud of this moment as we are of you. And now, it is my great pleasure to introduce the Hertie School's Executive EMPA graduates of 2022. I will read the names and would like to ask you to come onto the stage. Gabriela Andrade. Carolina Araujo. Caroline Assad. Hannah Bauer Burton. Mariana de la Roche Wills. Lea Gimpel. Johanna Juselius. UV Satya Sandeep Kalepu. Elena Liotta. Carolina Samper Hiraldo. Agim Selami. Molly Stansel. And Clemens Viernickel. I am absolutely delighted to be standing here with you today and to congratulate you. Please join me in congratulating the graduating class of 2022.
While everyone is finding their way back to their seats, we're coming to another special moment of the ceremony. I'm now honored and overjoyed to introduce the student speakers. It is so valuable to have feedback and to hear from your experience, to understand what you have learned and how you've experienced what was a very difficult period and a very challenging program. Your experience here is much more than just a degree. And the student speeches are usually the moment where we get a sense of what you have actually shared with one another and within our halls and within our community during the time you've spent here. We have two great student speakers this year. Hannah Bauer-Burton is a sustainable development professional, building bridges between the public and the private sector and civil society. Initially trained as an interpreter and in communication studies at Technische Hochschule Köln and Lund University, she has worked nationally and internationally on education for sustainable development and global citizenship, particularly as a member of the 2030 Agenda Delegation of the Swedish government. She is scholar at the Royal Foundation for Young Leadership. At the Hertie School, she focused on policy development and governance challenges in a global context. Her thesis is entitled Framing the Bigger Picture, Creation of a Social Sustainability Policy Framework in the Context of Regional Government in Sweden. Mariana de la Roche-Willis is Regulatory Affairs Manager at the IOTA Foundation and has been co-chair of the INABTA Social Impact and Sustainability Working Group since 2021. She's a Colombian human rights lawyer with a Bachelor's of Law from University de la Rosario in Bogota, where she graduated with academic honors and a specialization in human rights and humanitarian law. She has over 9 years' experience as a project manager and legal advisor for different NGOs and social businesses in Colombia and Germany. Her thesis is entitled Social Impact Model for Small and Medium-Sized Blockchain Projects, Providing Impact in the Blockchain Sector. Dear Hannah, dear Mariana, the stage is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm really happy to be able to be here considering everything that happened in the last couple of weeks. I had the pleasure to take classes or interact with most of you that are graduating today. So for those that know me, I guess you knew I will have something to say today. So here I am. And for those that don't know me, as you see, I speak quite fast, so this won't take that long. So I was at Hertie only 1 year, and two of the most pressing crises of our time marked my entrance and my exit from Hertie. When I started exactly a year ago, we were one of the first cohorts that was allowed to take classes on-site due to the COVID pandemic. Using a mask in class wasn't fun at all, but it was way much better than waking up at 3 a.m. as some of our former colleagues did from Latin American countries to join from the other side of the world because they were not allowed to fly into Germany. To all of you and those that couldn't join us today, you have my deepest respect. That's quite a level of commitment and dedication, and you should be proud of yourself. When I was taking some of my last courses at Hertie, the whole crisis in Ukraine started, and we needed to see how one of our colleagues, and I dare to say a friend, needed to leave the MPA on-site to go back to Russia to be with his family. And Alex is really sad to see that you are not here with us today. The Ukraine invasion also marks some of the conversations we have during the Brussels workshop. We have the opportunity to talk with the people in charge of the package of sanctions for Russia, as well as those reviewing Ukraine's application to the European Union. And the workshop is also organized by former MPA students, and I need to say that is the highlight of the MPA program by far. When I said that, there was a really good quote that I heard on one of the speeches in 2013 and came by Julia Stram, a former student and now a professor here at Hertie. She started the ceremony saying that knowledge comes by taking things apart, but wisdom comes by putting things together. And I really agree on that statement when referring to the MPA students. like Hertie give us the opportunity to learn from relevant people in the academy, the institutions, but like the most important thing is that it gives us the chance to get first-hand experience to you, because of you. Everyone at the MPA has so much knowledge and so much experience that could give us a whole class in topics that we have probably never heard or worked with. Each MPA students like brought knowledge to the classes, regardless of where we come from, our backgrounds, our colors, and our flavors. This diversity that we brought together into the classes is what made so interesting the conversations that we have in class. I dare to say that I learned as much from the professors at the classroom that from you at the coffee breaks. What it was pleasant for me to see is that regardless of where we are from or our own professions or experiences, we all share a social commitment. I share the love of Hussam for empowering the youth and the love of Biham from labor law, and I could stand by Mohana and Caroline when fighting for gender equality and women's rights. And I hear every time, and I enjoy it, when Ashley shared her experiences about her working with UN Women Asia, and I agree with our colleagues at the GIZ, Leam and us, when arguing the need for digitalization in local communities and in the German institutions, especially maybe in the German institutions and not only those in the public sector. I wish to think that Hertie selected us in part because of our social commitment and our fire to try to make this world more equitable for all of us. I would also like to recognize that all of us made sacrifices to be here, sacrifices in terms of money to pay a tuition, sacrifices in terms of time that we could have spent with our family or friends, sacrifices in terms of our sleep to waking up at 3 a.m. to take classes, sacrificing our mental health, or sacrificing our holidays because we did this on top of our full-time job. Whatever was the sacrifice you made, I hope it was worth it for you. I will take with me all the knowledge and all the learnings that I got from my colleagues at the MPA, not only for being experts on their field, but also for being transparent, dedicated, and really good people. My favorite quote is, and it has always been, from Carlos Pizarro, and it says, hay que estar siempre atento a lo desconocido, atreverse a pensar y hacer lo que se quiere, which means something like, always be on the look for the unknown, dare to think and to do what you dream of. And I know what you're thinking, it sounds way much better in Spanish. And with that, I agree as well. But what I want to ask, and to all of you graduated with me today, and those that will graduate in the following years, is to do that. Challenge the status quo and don't take the things that are given by granted. And more important, just follow your dreams and don't hesitate to act or stay quiet in the face of injustice. I'm sure that all of you will achieve like really big things, and I'm looking forward to seeing you out there. Last but not least, I would like to thank to all my family, my friends, and my colleagues at IOTA and in AEDPI for the constant support and encouragement. I know some of them are looking at this online, so that's how much they support me. But especially I would like to thank to those sitting here with me, my mom, Claudia Wills, who flew from all the way to Colombia to see me. My boyfriend, Kyle Ars Entrega, and my best friend, Lucas Ellerman. And not here, but always on my heart, my beloved dog, Mila, which, because of friendly dog policies, couldn't join us. To all of you, the three of you that are here with me, and to my really protected inner circle, thank you for always surrounding me with love and encourage me to always follow my dreams and to be authentic and be who I am. Success doesn't come alone, and I wouldn't be here without you guys. So thank you, and this degree belongs to all of you.
We made it. It's been 3 long years for some of us, and made especially long because most of us spend it in front of our screen. And there are people here that I've actually never seen in real life until this very day, which makes me quite like, yeah. But the benefits of being in front of the screen is that you have always access to the props. And those of you who have been in class with me know that at some point, to make a point, to explain something, there would always come out something to, illustrate that particular point. Teddy bears and all sorts, because, families. But today, I would like to illustrate my point by bringing a backpack. Because we always speak about the MPA journey. I think from the very first meeting I've had here at Hertie, it's been about the MPA journey. You're going on a journey. You're going to meet other people who are on a journey. So here we came with our backpacks, filled with our experiences, our knowledge, our skills, our ideas, our ideals, all packed in our individual backpacks. When we came to Hertie, we eventually had to unpack them. And out came probably books, probably all kinds of quotes, ideas and ideals, like I said, that we bring to the program. And just like Mariana said, we learned probably just as much from each other as we've learned from the professors, just from different angles. And we learned to repack our backpacks with new skills, new knowledge, different ideas, different perspectives, to prepare us for what is the journey after the MPA journey, which starts today. So, as the Girl Scout leader that I am, I want to make sure that you've packed everything. It is important that you've got your gear with you. And I would like to add 3 more things to your backpack that I think are vital for us as graduating students going out into the world on our assignments with the fire in our heart. That really resonated with me, so thank you. I'll keep that and put it in my backpack. So the 3 things are the willingness to take action, to always be prepared to act in the face of injustice or whatever it may be, to never cease to do the right thing. So willingness to take action needs to be in your backpack to make sure that you apply the knowledge, the skills, the diverse ideas, and the different perspectives that we have gathered. Secondly, I'd like to encourage you to bring courage, because to act cannot be done without the courage, especially in tough times, especially in challenging times that we are facing at the moment, especially in times that may not always bring out the best in us. So make sure to bring that courage, to contribute with what you got, and to stand by your convictions with the integrity it requires. And last but not least, bring compassion. I know you're all very passionate people, and passion gets things done, and that is great. Compassion, however, gets the right things done. And especially in challenging times, I strongly believe that it is the compassion that we need to get the right things done, be it at home, or be it at work, be it in governance, or anywhere else on the journey ahead that you have in front of you. I know for sure it will be an exciting one, and I look forward to reconvening with our backpacks when the time comes. But until then, have a safe journey. Thank you for the journey that it has been, and all the best for what's to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and I'd like to say I think this deserves another round of applause because the Coder Jazz Collective just made me discover that Britney Spears has written a song about online learning way before it actually happened. So you are right. The most important part of the experience here at Hertie is what you learn from one another, even though I think very, very highly of our professors. But you've put into the right words what exactly we take out, and I think it's the way in which you are together and learn from your experience and some of the out-of-classroom or out-of-screen experience that is so valuable and that I think will stay with you for very long. But because you've also written and thought and pored over books and concepts, we want to close the ceremony with a thesis, a poster award. It's the award for the work that you have actually produced as you were trying to solve the problems that you were solving, and some of you have done so very, very well, and we would like to honor the posters that have been submitted with, and that will be on display. You see the easels back here. They will be on display online and on-site until September 25. The posters represent the wide variety of topics and issues the Hertie School students cover. They bring with them, and they sometimes discover and develop while they're working here. But it is also so much more. They are great examples of communicating research and insights to broad and diverse audiences. And if we share one belief, it is that science and scientific insights matter, but if they are not brought to a broader audience, then they're worthless because nobody will hear it and be able to act on it. You have done this very well, and it is important to do so because we're living through times of crisis and confusion, and as researchers or scholars, we're asked to help understand what is happening and what can be done to move forward. And simultaneously, we're experiencing times in which what we do as scientists are under unfounded attacks, where science has no authority. There's even buttons that you can buy, I believe in science. It's not a belief, it is something that we ground and share in order to make authoritative claims. But in order to do so, it is very important to share how these claims are produced and how you got to that. The challenge of today requires us as policy researchers and practitioners to be in the center of the public debate. And that means being able to condense your ideas, to provide just one single image that is difficult and sometimes frustrating because you know so much more, but it is a useful exercise to think about how to communicate what you have understood. This year, for the first time, there was a competition for the best posters of the MPA graduates with 2 awards. One award is the Jury Award, and the other is the Student and Alumni Choice Award, in which all registered MPA students and alumni could participate. I would like to thank this year's jury for their work. Turet Husted, Dean of Graduate Programs and Professor of Public Administration and Management, Gerhard Hammerschmidt, Professor of Public and Financial Management and Director of the Center for Digital Governance, Egon Tripodi, Assistant Professor of Economics, and Julia Stamm, MPA graduate from 2013 and founder of and CEO of the Futures Project and Director of Science Leads. The jury award winners will be awarded a prize of 500 euros for the first place, of a 50 euro Dussmann gift card each for the second and the third place. The Student and Alumni Choice Award will be accompanied by a 5 euro voucher for our Hertie School merchandise shop. Now, it is my great honor to announce the winners, and I would like to start with the most important one, the one where your fellow students are asked to cast a vote. So I will start with the winner of the Student and Alumni Choice Award, which goes to Caroline Assad. Congratulations. Please join me, but somebody needs to get me the award, so I'll just shake you. For the jury award, I'll go backward, starting with the third winner, and I do so that Caroline doesn't sit down, but comes back up on stage, because she's also the third place for the jury award. For her, and now that I have the award, I can read out the title for her master's thesis poster entitled Exploring Ethnic and Cultural Diversity in Cultural Policy in Berlin, London, and New York City. So congratulations again on your second award. The second place, which I want to open, goes to Elena Lyotta for her master's thesis. For her master's thesis poster entitled Lab, Language, and Local Governments, using text analysis to evaluate the cultural impact of innovation units on their parent organization. Congratulations, Elena. It's true, it's the most exciting. And the first place winner of this year's jury award goes to Clemens Wiernickel. For an outstanding master's thesis poster entitled Move Slow, it's also an instruction, and Don't Break Things, an analysis and international comparison of the policy framework for the formation and success of technology companies in Germany. Congratulations, Clemens. Zettelwirtschaft. So with this award ceremony, we are now at the end of our graduation ceremony for this year's MPA. I would simply like to add a few closing awards, because as you imagine, the organization of such an event is always a very important organizational challenge, and it is one of the moments we are proudest of, because we can see and congratulate you on a journey. Yes, it's a journey, but every journey at one point ends on top of the mountain and hill you've climbed, and so we want you to enjoy the view and really realize what you have managed to do in order to get up here. I would like you now to join and celebrate us in the reception in the lobby just outside the auditorium. But before we continue the celebration, I would like to thank officially all the people that made today's event possible. First of all, thank you to our very inspiring speaker, Dr. Ezekwesili, for your powerful words. Thank you to our two fantastic student speakers, Mariana and Hannah, for your honest and inspiring words. Thank you to our communications team and examination office team, who so tirelessly helped to prepare the event and the degree conferment. You did a wonderful job. This event was made possible because the Auditorium Friedrichstraße hosted us, and because our photographer, our technical support team, and the staff surrounding you right now made it possible and very memorable. Thank you. A special round of applause for the Kodo Jazz Collective who accompanied the ceremony. And last but not least, thank you to the Vormanns, who not only provided the catering at the reception, but who are also the heart and the good souls of the Hertie School once you're actually in our building and you need to eat, which is a very important part of being here together. So please join me in a round of applause for the Vormanns and for everybody else. And with these words, again, congratulations, class of MPA 2022. We are so proud of you. We'll open the doors, and so the children can finally run around and scream and nobody will look at them. Thank you.
Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more. What you say? I'll hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more. Now, baby, listen, baby, don't you treat me so mean, yeah. So woman that I ever seen. Well, I guess if you said so, yeah, I'll have to pack my things and go. That's right, I'll hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. I'll hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. I'll hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more. Baby, don't you treat me so mean, 'cause I'll be back on my feet someday. Don't care if you do, 'cause it's understood. You ain't got no money and you ain't no good. Well, I guess if you said so, yeah, I'll have to buy